delegating him the responsibility of accounting officer for only this meeting, isn't it? The fact that your boss has gone to attend the cabinet, but one would wonder how long would it take you to call for this internal memo from public service to Parliament, a document that has taken us close to 40 minutes to retrieve. And we just want to inform you, we doubt whether this document was there. Microphone, please. Microphone is off, Mr. P.S. Acting, sir.
On our way to Ministry of Public Service, traffic had been withheld. I think important people were moving, so the roads were closed. But then there was later opened and we were able to proceed.
Okay. Honorable members, we have a letter here. We have an internal memo here from the Ministry of Public Service. However, I had observed that it is very unfortunate that this memo would take 40 minutes to reach this place. And it's our colleagues who speak to having an efficient public service where an officer cannot move in a boda to pick a letter, because we doubt whether you don't have office helpers, because this wouldn't even necessitate Mr. Irumba himself to go and deliver this memo. This is a very simple document. I believe it must even have been pinned on notice boards. So this wouldn't necessitate us to take all that long, 40 minutes. Taxpayers' time wasted for somebody to go and just pick an internal memo. But also, honorable colleagues, that you do deliberate, I want to draw your attention to Article 164 about accountability. The permanent secretary or the accounting officer in charge of a ministry or department shall be accountable to Parliament for the funds in that ministry or department. However, we have this Public Finance Management Act that speaks to when or the extent to which an accounting officer can delegate. And this is Section 43, Accounting Officer. But I want to draw your attention to Section 43(6). An accounting officer may delegate a function or responsibility of the accounting officer specified in this Act to a public officer under the control of the accounting officer. 7 states that where an accounting officer delegates a function or responsibility, under subsection 6, the accounting officer shall give such directives as may be necessary to ensure the proper exercise or performance of the function or responsibility. 8, an accounting officer shall be personally accountable for a function or responsibility that is delegated under this section. Now we are looking at 2 laws. We are looking at the PFMA and we are looking at the Constitution, which is the supreme law of this land. We want to learn from you as the head of public service. Educate us on which takes precedence over the other when it comes to decision making in an organization.
Madam Chair and members, the Constitution gives the general guidance, and the Public Finance Management Act operationalizes those articles of the Constitution. And I think this was to give effect to the operationalization of the provision of 164, Article 164 of the Constitution.
So according to your interpretation, in your own understanding, this memo gives you mandate to appear before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament to respond as an accounting officer on matters accountability?
Yes, under section 43, 6 and 7, yes.
No, you ably answered that the supreme of the Constitution and the Public Finance Management Act, which supersedes the other. You said, ably said, that the Public Finance and Management Act operationalizes the Constitution, isn't it?
Yeah, the Constitution is superior, and the Public Finance Management Act 2015 operationalizes those sections, at least gives the details on how it should be implemented and how those roles can be performed. just because the permanent secretary may not be present, like in today's case, she's not. Somebody else could perform that responsibility to avoid a gap happening.
You ably said that you have been in public service for the last 28 years as Undersecretary.
Yes.
Have you ever, in your time of experience, have you ever represented your accounting officer to a public accounts committee? Yes, as the accounting officer?
Yes, I have.
When did that happen?
2023-24 and 2023-24. We appeared 3 times.
Before which committee?
Public Accounts Committee, and then the chair was Honorable Mafabi.
Honorable Mafabi is around. Honorable Mafabi, Mr. President, sir, we need to learn from you.
Madam Chair, I'm so happy that the acting accounting officer has made a very fundamental mistake. That 2023-24, I've never been a chair of PAC. You're aware of that. I was chair of PAC in 2006 to 2011. And I'm sure you're not an undersecretary.
So, and maybe 2023, we have been the committee. PAC has been so. But mistake, human is to error. Please tell us, when did you appear before Nandara Mafabi, the honorable former candidate, presidential candidate?
Madam Chair, you can forgive him for mixing up the years, but I did. And I'm sure even Honorable Mafabi remembers. And I remember one of the questions he asked us then was whether about coffee drinking. So I remember very well.
Madam Chair, you see, there's a time, if an accounting officer has come with his team, me, I'm good at talking to everybody. Well, I can't recall, but you see, you have a record. First of all, 2023, that's wrong. If 2006 to 2013, 2011, we have a record. We can check. But what I wanted to put up, if I did it, then I might have made a mistake. Because the law, if you read the Council, Madam Chair, it says the accounting officer will be answerable to Parliament. Shall. It's a mandatory. Yeah, I hope you have read there.
I have read.
Yeah. They can delegate a function. You'll be in payment, be in what, is this. In fact, all these ones work on behalf of the accounting officer. They can now, when he's here, he can say, please, you answer that one, you do that one. But for accountability of funds you have got from Parliament, it is a mandatory, personal to others.
Yes, Honorable Emily.
Chair, and I'm happy the Undersecretary has come back with the letter. When, unless I have heard it differently, the assignment given to him is to head a delegation. It is not actually that he has been delegated the responsibility of accounting officer to represent the accounting officer. That is what is very specific in the letter. And actually, even at this particular point in time, we are not sure about which delegation, whether the delegation that is referred to in the letter is this one, or there is another group of people.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable Cyrus.
He might have been as well assigned to lead the delegation back home. To head the delegation back home. So it can be so. Otherwise, Madam Chair, I think it is a very serious issue. And now that this is day 2, last time again the team was sent back. I think it's not good for the image of the ministry. I don't know why you people are not taking back seriously. You are denting your own image. I don't know. So, Madam Chair, you need to take a conclusive decision on what we can do going forward. Thank you.
Honorable members, on record, we do receive an internal memo to Irumba Roger Keija, Mr. Copied to the Minister of Public Service and the Minister of State for Public Service from a signature of Wirakwate, a PS on 6, that was written to him on March 6, 2026. delegation of responsibility of accounting officer for Monday, 9th March 2026. So he's an accounting officer for today. This is to delegate you the responsibility of accounting officer for Monday, 9th March 2026 for purposes of heading a delegation to appear before Public Accounts Committee to consider responses to the Auditor General's report on Vote 5, Ministry of Public Service for the financial year 2024-25, while I will be away attending Cabinet on the same day. Honorable colleagues, arising out of the discussion that we have had, yes, Honorable Nandala Mafavi.
Madam Chair, number one, which would be of great help. The reason why every year the list of public accounting officers is laid in the House is for purposes, they lay the names, is for purposes of Parliament noting and accepting that that will be the accounting officer for that financial and will be responsible for the funds of that ministry at that period. And now when somebody, of course, supposing was transferred, the person who comes in, of course, assumes both assets and liabilities of that ministry of that entity. In that regard, Madam Chair, of course, sometimes maybe our colleagues in civil service may not know that that's the law. I think you have to come out clearly in the ruling, because when you have a subsidiary law like the Public Finance and Accountability Law, where it is in conflict with the Constitution, that part becomes null and void. But that part where we are, and I want to come and state there, because I was involved in that Public Finance Act very seriously. The purpose was that the accounting officer will not perform everything in his ministry or in his entity alone. He will have to delegate people to do work on his or her behalf there. But when it comes to Parliament, as the law says, the accounting officer, he or she herself must be accountable. And if you go further, it says you will be responsible for this, whether you have ceased to hold that place or whatever. Even if you have died, and the issues come when you are there, you will be held personally liable, even the grave. So that's what I wanted to put across.
Thank you, Honorable Choma.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I entirely agree with my senior, Honorable Nandala. Additionally, Honorable Chair, that internal memo you've just read is not yours.
Yeah.
It is his.
It is him.
Okay? Otherwise, if they had respected you, the accounting officer would have written it to you, informing you how she is away and how she has actually delegated the undersecretary, but still which wouldn't be permissible, but that would at least be some kind of courtesy, some kind of respect. But the internal memo is not yours, it is for him. I just wanted to inform you of that. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
And additional information, Madam Chair, in that line, in the list of the accounting officers for 2024-2025, his name does not appear. So unless it was put as a substitute accounting officer, that in the event that I'm not available, the substitute will come in. So the name of the person here does not appear in the list of the accounting officers for that particular financial year, and even now. So, I don't know.
Honorable colleagues, I do take note of the observations by the committee and also the document that has been delivered to us by this very team from the Ministry of Public Service, which has the mandate to develop, manage, and administer human resource policies, management of structures, systems, and procedures for public service, meaning they are the custodian on how public service is run. It is such a big disappointment to have colleagues high the bar, present themselves as ugly as you have appeared today? How do you dare you bring an internal memo, an internal document to a committee of parliament as an official document giving you responsibility to present your accounting officer in this committee? We wrote to you officially to appear before the committee, aware that the mode of communication to us would have been in writing. And in case there was a delegation to you, your accounting officer would have written to the committee delegating you officially to represent your accounting officer. If public service can handle matters of management of staff and other matters related to public administration like this, one doubts the capacity and competence of public service to supervise other entities of government. I just want to remind you that Article 164 is clear about the responsibility of your accounting officer when it comes to accountability. I'm going to read verbatim and be on record that the permanent secretary or the accounting officer in charge of a ministry or department shall be accountable to Parliament for the funds in that ministry. The reason as to why at the times of approval of the budget, Parliament goes ahead to approve the list of accounting officers, meaning accountability in regard to use of public funds is person to holder. That's why we asked, this delegation is given under which law? One doubts a public service that can delegate somebody to appear before a committee of parliament without specifically knowing the where the other person draws the mandate and under which law are you being delegated. So, honorable colleagues, I beg that we do discharge for the second time the Ministry of Public Service to go back and have themselves prepared to appear before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament to remind you that you are a government entity that consumes public resources, where you must, and it's mandatory for you to account for the funds that you received for the year under review. We are speaking about the year 2024-25. And we expect your accounting officer to respect this committee and appear in person. Deliver our dissatisfaction about the conduct of the Ministry of Public Service when it comes to the way you handle public matters and the use of the office that you do occupy. I want to draw your attention to Objective 26, all to 6 of the National Objectives and Directive Principles of State Policy. Only to remind you that all public offices shall be held in trust for the people. Number 2, all persons placed in positions of leadership and responsibility shall, in their work, be answerable to the people. Number 3, all lawful measures shall be taken to expose, combat, and eradicate corruption and abuse, all misuse of power by those holding political or other public offices. With the due respect to colleagues from this other side, let's avoid wasting taxpayers' money. When you look at your vision as a Minister of Public Service, is creating a public service that is affordable. And today, this is a waste, so far for the second time. If one asked for the value for money for the meeting of second and the value for money for the meeting of today, I'm telling you, you can be serious, you can face serious audit queries. A public service that is affordable, efficient, and accountable in driving a national development, in improving quality of life of people of Uganda. So, sir, please extend our disappointment to your boss. This time round, we are not going to say, you know, we shall call you some other time. On Wednesday, look at your schedule.
What if there is cabinet on Wednesday and she says she's in cabinet? It must be. You never know.
So, honorable colleagues, the Minister of Public Service is going to appear tomorrow before the Public Accounts Committee at 4. 4 p.m. sir. And that is the last day we have for you as the Minister of Public Service. We shall thereafter conclude on how to handle a ministry that has people who are highly connected and they feel Public Accounts Committee is a very, I'll not conclude with that, but that is the fact. That is how useless you take us, but I want to assure you, you see what will happen when you don't appear before this committee tomorrow at 4 p.m. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, honorable members.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Sembabule district lies in the central region, about 48 kilometers northwest of Masaka and nearly 190 kilometers from Kampala, right within Uganda's vast cattle corridor. For decades, the district's livelihood depended heavily on cattle keeping. But with the introduction of the parish development model, Sembabule is experiencing a quiet but powerful transition. In Sembabule Market Zone,